Hi everyone, welcome to the Swirl Suite. My name is Sarita. I'm Sarita of Vine Me Up. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, pretty much everywhere else. You can also follow the Swirl Suite at the Swirl Suite on Twitter. We're also on WordPress and Google Plus, and we are talking wine and spirit careers today. So our special guest, she'll be logging on soon, but if you guys could start by introducing your beautiful selves.
Hello, everyone. I am Glennis Hill of Vino Noir, excuse me. I must have been drinking a little too much already. No, just kidding. um, I am based in the DC metropolitan area, do wine educational tastings, events, anything wine that will entice the palate. That's what I do. So you can find me at all the social media sites except for some of the new ones because I'm just learning those as well. But Instagram, Facebook, Twitter,
We're gonna get her.
and and I'm new to Facebook. How about that? No, I'm just kidding. But you can find me at those places. So
Melissa.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Davis Taylor, otherwise known as the Liquor Lady. So you can find me at liquorlady.com. I am actually new to Facebook and am not ashamed to say it. So at Liquor Lady 000. Somebody had already taken my name. And you can always find me on Twitter at liquor_lady and then on Instagram at the Liquor Lady.
I don't think I'm following you yet. Hold on, let
me
me
neither.
find
It's
That's
all
what
right. When I say I'm new on Facebook, I'm new on Facebook. I love Twitter. I'm as I told you guys, I'm a Periscope virgin. So tomorrow I'm going to pop the Periscope cherry.
All right.
So just
got
trying
you.
out a lot of different things. But yay,
Wait, so you said Liquor Lady?
000.
000.
Okay,
I thought about 007, but I was like, nah, I'll just be 000.
I found you.
Gotta go with it.
I
Thank you,
found
dear.
you.
Thank you. Now I have to go back and like your pages and stuff.
Yeah.
Yay.
All right. So, let me start with my Did You Know? So these are pretty interesting this week. So,
Okay.
since we're talking about wine and spirit careers, did you know that Bro Vineyards is looking for an assistant manager for their tasting room? If you're
Ooh.
interested, just inbox me. I have an email and a job description. There's a girl who posted it in the Young Winos Facebook group. So she's looking for someone to replace that position. So that's pretty cool. Bro is a gorgeous vineyard. It's gorgeous winery. So that should be a lot of
So I just know where it's located.
fun.
Yeah.
There's Bro Vineyards. It's in Virginia. I know that.
Virginia.
Now, what part of Virginia? Hold on. What
I
part?
was gonna say that's all I knew, Sarita.
I think Bro is a little over an hour from DC, but
Okay.
let me look it up. Hold on.
I'll look it up for you.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you very much. Thank you very much.
You're
I'll
welcome.
move on to my second Did You Know? So, according to NBC this week, Spanish wines are now the most popular wines and have
Really?
slightly
Oh my
surpassed
goodness.
France. However, this report is based on wines sold, and most wines from Spain are sold in bulk. So,
Mm.
and also,
Yep, yep.
as far as revenue, um, Spain is still bringing in less than one third of a profit than France. So, good try, good try. We're getting there. Y'all know I love Spanish wines. I
Yep.
think I drink more cava than anybody.
Yeah, I was
But
gonna say kava drinker
yeah,
right there.
yeah. So that was pretty interesting. So my last did you know is okay. So wine lacks in consumer research data, especially compared to other industries like fashion, healthcare, banking, blah, blah, blah. So there is a new term called enolytics.
Yes.
Oh,
Enolytics. Yeah.
love it already.
Yeah. So it's going to be used with the Hello Vino app, and they are going to dissect wine behavior as far as data is concerned. So for instance, they did this experiment using one metric wine o'clock. So they dissected wine o'clock, and they discovered that wine o'clock occurs from 5 to 8 p.m. across the U.S., with 6 p.m. being the most active daily, excluding Sunday. And so they just break down the concentration of activities as far as browsing by, um, age groups, geographical location, that sort of thing. So that was pretty cool. And that also lets us know that the wine industry is really open to so many disciplines. I mean, that seems very IT to me, you know? So
Exactly.
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I
So,
wonder how they get their, or where they're getting all their data from, or where their data source is
mm,
coming from. Probably UC Davis. Probably they probably get a lot of data from UC Davis since they do a lot of research
yeah,
only on the processes of making wine, but also from a business standpoint as well.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And
Teacher's back.
Hey,
yeah. And I was going to say, since Sarita started it off, it was ironic. I love that you were talking about a job in the industry. I was talking to one of the distillers at 1/8 Distilling. So 1/8 Distilling right downtown, yeah, in DC. So they are looking for a marketing manager. So they're looking to replace a position. So they have a job out there. So I went over there a couple weeks ago, got to know the team. Unbelievable guys, great products. So that is one I would say definitely send me a message if you want more information. But they are looking for a marketing manager.
Very
hmm,
cool. Awesome. And also, there are I read the wine business website. I try to go there
hmm,
once a month, and they have a long list of jobs there. But
Yeah.
uh, as you guys know, I worked at a winery for 5 years, and I got that job by a simple email. You never know, I don't think
Yeah.
people really know. Sometimes people don't know what they need until it's offered.
That's
So,
right.
reach out, network, talk to people, get to know somebody who knows somebody.
right.
It'll come around. It'll come
I
around.
agree.
So Bro Vineyards is located in Purcellville,
Oh,
Virginia.
Percival.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And
Oh.
Very
located in Purcellville,
It's
Virginia.
it's right out there near Catoctin Creek.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. Harper's Ferry Road is like the major cross street to Bro Vineyard Lane,
Mm.
what comes up. So the
Um.
marketing manager's position that you were speaking about and the other position that you were speaking about, the salary ranges of these particular positions. So,
I was
Yeah.
actually going to bring that whole thing up because nobody really wants to talk about compensation when it comes to like working in the wine industry. I guess because it
no,
looks so glamorous and you're pouring
right.
wine and looking good. And, I don't know. I really don't know. But Wine Folly did a whole post on salaries. So, but the salary was not mentioned in the job description. So
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure what that was.
Okay.
But I have here, where does it say? Hold on. Just saw
That's
it.
interesting. I could find somebody to match my salary and my
Oh,
business
Oh,
package.
no. It's not going to happen.
Who
It's not going
said
to
that?
happen.
we can
Two,
hear Tanisha, we just can't see her.
can't see you. We can hear
That's
you, but we
okay.
can't see
We can hear
you.
her.
I can't see me either. I don't, you know what? I'm about to just quit.
No, you're
But we
No,
live,
don't
so I
do
got to act like I
that.
have some sense. I'm like, we're live. Let me get it together.
um so according to the payscale.com for the wine industry, God, these are like sales. That's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Mm, that is
Face-
not what I'm looking for. What they have it. Oh, here we go. So for a tasting room wine club manager, it's about 40K to 56K a year.
oh, look at my face.
Yep.
Wow.
That's according to Wine Folly. Um,
Wow.
let's see.
Yeah.
So, and my question to really kick this off was, if you guys could talk about the positions that you've had in wine and what you would call your current position now and how you got
Huh.
Ah, mine is
Well,
simple. That's funny. Current positions and how we got here.
yeah.
That's cute.
Risk did.
So,
Did current position.
there? Like,
Sipping.
did you start out volunteering at festivals? Did you start working
How
at
I
wine
started
club?
in the wine industry.
Mhm.
okay. I mean, I can definitely, if you guys want me to start from a spirits perspective,
Yeah,
I'm
please.
fairly comfortable, and then we can try to figure out how to do income because I think it's a little different depending on how you start.
Okay.
Mhm.
I actually started in the industry as a promo girl, so I was one of those in my thin days without the stomach, that kind of thing. Um, so I used to go out to bars and clubs and furniture stores and you name it. I did a lot of things with Washington Wholesale. So we were doing Absolute promotions and Kahlua promotions and things like that. So I actually was doing that to make money in DC while I was getting my MBA.
Wow.
Okay.
So yeah, I needed a job at night that paid decently. I mean, at the time, $40 an hour, $50 an
That's
hour was
pretty
not
good.
unheard of. So things
What?
have things
That's
have
very good.
totally changed. Totally changed. So it was a great way to make some side money. And even $30 an hour for some of the gigs. So I mean, that was still really good. I was in my 20s and going to school. So
Yeah.
that's how I started. But I also had a background. I'd done market research. So because of being a promo girl, I really fell in love with alcohol. So
Mhm.
I decided I was like, well, I want to get an internship in the business and couldn't get one. A bunch of the big companies turned me down. I had no liquor experience. But it turned out that as I was graduating,
Mhm.
Brown Forman, at the time, they hired all of their MBAs that were coming in into market research. So ironically, any of their marketing MBAs had to go through research, and I had a background in research. I wanted to work in alcohol. They
Okay.
liked me. I liked them. So I moved out to Kentucky. And my first role there was an assistant consumer insights manager.
Wow.
That gives you a feel. Um, Ton of fun, really good pay because I was with a big corporate entity,
Mhm.
and it was a great path forward. So I was there 5 years. I had three different jobs in the 5 years. So I moved from consumer research into brand management. So that's when I moved into what I would call grocery store wines. So I worked on Fetzer, Bonterra, Bola at the time when we owned it, Five Rivers. So I worked on a lot of the larger kind of grocery store wine brands as an assistant brand manager. And then I moved into trade marketing for the company for on premise. So that's where I started working with like restaurants like Cheesecake Factory, California Pizza Kitchen, Kimpton with our internal sales teams and then going out on sales calls to help grow our beverage business in those organizations. So that's really,
Wow.
that's how I got started. And then I moved into I was a buyer, obviously, for HMS Host and Marriott International. I went on to to work for an importer, and that's what led me to where I am now. Kind of having my own thing with Liquor Lady. So that just gives you a little bit of flavor. It's a non-traditional path, or it's a very corporate. It's corporate alcohol,
Mhm.
which is a little bit different from a lot of folks.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
outstanding.
That's very cool.
It's a lot of
Mhm.
fun. But I can honestly say now, from a salary perspective, and I think that's one thing, we'll see. And I'm interested to hear your guys' paths. This is definitely a way, I've had a six-figure salary. So the corporate alcohol business can be very lucrative, really strong bonuses,
Mhm.
all of that. Obviously I've taken a pay cut now in the short term,
Mhm.
but it's very much it's consulting work, so you're setting your own rates, so you're really dictating, you're pounding the pavement is really dictating
How much?
your income, so there's a direct correlation there.
So why did you leave that?
I want a lot of flexibility. I think, and I don't think it's unique to the alcohol industry, but sitting at a desk chained to a desk is difficult for me.
Mhm.
um, So that's sort of one side of the thing. You know, I have a hard time with sitting, and I also was starting to find that I like really broad stuff. Like, I want to know what the new whiskey is. I want to know what the new wines are, what the new distilleries are. And when you work for some of these corporations, you're locked into just their products. So that's part of the reason I started blogging, to have a wider range. Like, I want to know what the new whiskey is. I want to know wines are. Hi.
I don't think you can watch and be on the video.
Into just their product. So that's part of the reason I started blogging. Oh, there's a delay. This is awesome. It's like the NBC, like in case there's inappropriate viewing, there's like a delay.
There we go.
Okay.
I'm so not tech savvy.
No, it's all good.
You're not alone, darling.
It was a perfect timing. I sort of finished my path, but yeah, to Sarita, to your point, just having that flexibility, and that's what blogging gave me. I started blogging when I was working full time. So that was sort of a first step in, just to meet a lot of people, PR contacts, distillery contacts, and then finally, it gave me enough confidence to kind of make the leap, outside of blogging. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's one thing I want to say. Can you hear me?
Yes. It sounds great.
Okay. Here's one thing I want to say about what Melissa said, and just to make the difference, there is a big difference between alcohol and like spirits and what Melissa has been in and wine.
Yes.
The same thing that you do and the money you make and the opportunities that are available in spirits are not the same as wine. And I just wanted to make sure I just interjected really quickly to just say that. And the business side of spirits, I mean, if you just look at the kind of events that spirits has,
Right.
and the kind of things that they sponsor and where you see them and who they have promoting spirits as opposed to wine, you can tell that the amount of money there is to be made and the amount of money they spend is completely different.
But I
just don't want anybody watching to think that those two the industries are similar.
But I will argue with you a little bit on that. It depends on your path in wine. So like I said, when I was at Brown-Forman, I worked on a bunch of wine brands. They weren't your typical very small, local Virginia wineries. I was working on Fetzer, for heaven's sakes, one of the largest wineries in the country.
Yes.
So definitely
true.
A different kind of wine.
Even if you're working for a smaller, like, spirits producer, I think that, there is that disparity.
Absolutely.
I think that just overall, I think that there's more money spent and more money made in spirits alcohol as far as wine alcohol.
Yes. That I will that I totally agree with. I just didn't want people to think. I think it's more like size of company, because when I deal with craft spirit brands, it's a lot of the same challenges as the smaller wine brands. So it's really about size of brand and company brand is attached to.
Yeah. Because I think, like, as a whole, most people, when they think of working in wine, like, I don't know if they'd be working with, like, a Kendall Jackson, a Fetzer, one of these larger mass-produced wines. And then those wines that are that we're talking about, those are in a group with spirits brands. They're not wines that are standalone. Mm-hmm. And so that's what also makes the difference. They're wines that are under a portfolio of spirits.
Guys, can we introduce our guest really quick?
Absolutely.
Tipsy Sommelier, hi.
Hello.
Can she hear us? Oh, man.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Me? Teresina? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I'll be on my JOB next go around.
Please tell us about yourself.
Well, I am Teresina St. Clair. I love wine, obviously. So I have a background in interior design and entrepreneurship. I fell into wine just out of curiosity. I have a pretty good palate, so I started drinking like when I was 30. Just had my baby. I just need a little help. I know that sounds horrible, but it's the truth. I just need a little help. So just to calm my nerves and then even. And the doctor was the one that told me. See, thank you. The doctor was the one that told me that, perhaps I should start drinking wine. Well, that's when I realized I had a pretty good palate, and started just getting a little curious about it. Visited wineries, and then in about 2011, I decided to go to California and sit for this sommelier course. And I mean, just one of those very immersive, kind of fast, 1 week things. You pass, fail, whatever. And so I did it. I passed. I got back to Virginia, and everyone that I told about the experience told me the exact same thing. I love wine. I don't know anything about it. I heard that so many times. And that's where I came up with the idea to start the company. So that's pretty much how it started, and it's just really taken off, with the at first it was just winery tours, wine classes, things like that. But now it's a lot of the art and wine, crafts and wine parties. I mean, it's been great, and doing a lot of corporate events now. So yeah. I mean, I still have the wine rep position, which is helpful, and I love that.
Say that again. I'm sorry, it broke up. The wine
I'm
what?
sorry. I am also a wine rep
Okay.
with the distributorship
Okay.
out of Northern Virginia. So I do that. I do it all. I'd say collectively it's full-time and over full-time, but individually the different things, it's like part-time. But I love it. I just love the industry. I mean, if we can figure out how to make money in it, I'm all about it. That's the struggle for me, honestly.
So I have a question. So when you took your SOM exam, did you transition into wine, or were you doing something else before that?
No, I just transitioned.
Okay.
I mean, I was in interior design. And had been designing schools for like 12 years. And then somewhere along the way, I wanted to open up a wine store. I said I was going to do that. And then I had a friend tell me, she's like, you don't want to do that? I know this guy that did it. He lost all of his money, da 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 da. You should look at being a wine rep. So then that was my out of interior design and into the wine industry.
Wow.
But you know what I think is really funny? Is that I'll come across people I used to work with, and they say, do you miss interior design at all? And I'm like, no, not at all. I've never looked back, not one time, never second guessed it.
Wow.
But I love it.
That's awesome. And how long have you had your business?
Since, I think pretty much, legally probably 2012.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. But I started.
Illegally, how long?
Huh?
I said illegally.
No, because I was doing it right after I started right after I got the certificate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow. And you are out of Richmond, Virginia?
Yes.
Okay. And so you only do the Virginia wine tours?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
But I like to do look at California and other places. I guess eventually.
Interesting. Very cool. So who wants to go next, Glennis or Tanisha?
Sure, I'll go next. Mine is so totally different. I am an environmental scientist by education and training, and mine was just a curiosity and a love of wine. So I like the process of how, to keep it simplistic, how this vine digs its roots deep and produces this fruit that becomes this commodity that moves across the world and makes money. That's where my love of wine started, on a global level. On a land-based level, I just happened to be out on a job site doing an environmental cleanup. The group got together at this small, I won't say, well, we're in this small town in North Carolina. I'll say that. And by that point in time, I had figured out which wines that I liked and being in the corporate setting, working for environmental engineering firms, we would have these dinners and we would get these wine lists, and I was like, yeah, this is cute. And I don't like not knowing. So, long story short, I knew what I liked, what I didn't like, what reds I liked, and what whites I liked, and what whites I didn't like. So I could taste it without knowing and without having seen the bottle. Long story short, ordered a glass and it came back and it wasn't what I had ordered. Took it to the bar. I was like, I knew it wasn't the waitress. Said, hey, this is not the Cabernet Sauvignon that I ordered. She was like, the bartender said, yes, it is. And I said, no, it's not. The gentleman sitting next to me said, let me taste it. He took the glass out of my hand.
Hmm.
And whatever brand it was, he said, that's not it. And he said, give this young lady the bottle and send it to the table. So, I mean, he was the owner. So that was my introduction to wine. I started traveling. I love to travel, so my vacations became wine destinations.
Oh, wow.
And I would go to Napa and Sonoma once a year, but a different season of the year because I like the way vines look during different seasons. Bare during harvest, blooming in the spring, crushed, smell of grapes. So one of my line sisters sorority sister said, hey, you're really into this. You know this stuff. You need to start blogging. Like, it's blogging. I am not tech savvy. I'm a scientist. Give me a test tube. Boom, I can mix you up whatever you want. I'm not a business person. I don't know the marketing side. So that side has been a struggle for me. That's why I lean on Sarita for the IT. We lean on now for marketing. And Tanisha's all around, and everything. So, she said, "Let's start blogging." I said, "No, I can't blog. Somebody has to have some credentials." So that's when I looked into doing the WSET, and I said for WSET 2 in DC, and passed with distinction, and then said for WSET 3 and did the advanced course in France.
All right.
Oh my goodness!
That is awesome.
So, now I'm laughing because you're now my new shero, Tipsy Sommelier, because I started all this in 2012 and I'm nowhere near where you are because I'm too scared to give up my full-time job. And I'm like, yo, I can make that same kind of money with that same package. Melissa, y'all, hey, he's telling me something because y'all have done it, and I can see the fruit of your labor, and so I'm trying to get there, but my full-time job takes most of my time, and so now I do. I've done some wine. I do wine tastings. I became a brand ambassador for the Boissé portfolio, in-home wine tasting for them. I've done some wine tastings, assisted flow brands on numerous occasions, got paid by them. So that's my wine story over the last 30 some odd years.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That's amazing, Glennis.
That's a really nice story.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to help with the business side.
Well, I'll help you any way I can.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tanisha, your turn.
What?
Your
I
turn.
can't hear
all
you.
you.
Hello?
Playing
It's just all that delay getting to Paris,
But y'all already know my story, so it's not the most exciting story.
Well,
So,
Teresita does not know your story.
Yeah, I don't know your story.
on a cold February night, two people got together and made love and formed a seed. 9 months later, what you see before you was born. So I'm just kidding. We're not going to start that far back. I'm not going to be on this phone that long. But no, seriously. Okay, I'm awake now. All right. So, seriously though, you all know that I used to live in the DC area, and there are a ton of wineries and wine festivals in Maryland, Virginia. And so I started going to those when I was in grad school. So a while ago. And grad school was stressful for me, so drinking was like a little escape, not like an alcoholic kind of drinking, but like I need something to do. Grad school is hard. Help. So I would go to these wineries and these festivals, and I wish I remember who it was and which winery I was at, like which tent, whatever. But I was talking to this person as I was tasting the wine. Most people, when you're at a festival, they just throw their little glass up there and they like pour it. And they're like, oh,
Right.
this is a Cabernet Sauvignon. It has this. And they're like, in the glass. Like they just want more wine. This person took the time and it just was explaining to me, oh, this is a Cabernet Sauvignon, or it was probably like a Petit Verdot because I was in Virginia, or Cab Franc, something like that. And so they poured it, and they were just telling me the flavors and how it all came to be, and I became really fascinated with it and how it tasted in the glass and what they were telling me. So I think I stood there for about 40 minutes asking them 20 questions to get all these other people that are walking up, because I have my questions, and I want to talk. So from there, I just became really fascinated with it and started attending more festivals and asking these kind of questions. Then I started taking WSET classes, and then I met this guy who was in wine marketing, and he was like, oh, you're really good, you should come work with me. So I started doing wine events with him, and that was just being at like Harris Teeter, Whole Foods, and how you go up on a Saturday and they're like, hey, do you want to taste these sausages or you want a piece of cheese? But I would be like, hey, you want to or no? You want to taste this sparkling wine from the south of France?
All right, you were a wine lady. Here you go. It was a promo book.
So I had to just go, hey, do you want to taste this? You should buy about it. Oh, is that steak in your cart? Well, this Bordeaux would be super bomb. Taste it. So we'll do that, and then from there, since he was just starting his business, the more he grew, then the more I was able to grow with him, and I started doing his trade tastings. I started going to festivals and speaking at festivals for him. Then there was this trip to Burgundy, and he couldn't go. And he was like, well, I'm going to suggest some of my people to go. And I was one of those people. And he was like, Tanisha, apply for this. If you need any help with your application, let me know. I was like, all right. So I looked at it. I was like, all right, certified Burgundy wine educator. Okay, let me just fill this out and see what the deal is. I didn't even know all that it was. Filled it out, got accepted. I was, excited, like, oh, this is cool. They flew me out to Burgundy. And they, covered all the expenses, and and they say you'll be in Burgundy for a week. We'll go through all the regions of Burgundy, France, and then, we'll test you at the end. All right, fine. Until I get there. Then I get there, and they're like, all right, everyone, introduce yourself. Hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm master of wine. Hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm master sommelier. Hello, my name is blah, 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 and I've been in the wine industry for 25 years. I'm the president of the International Wine Center in New York, and I have this certification, this certification, this certification. They get to me, I'm like, hey, I'm Tanisha.
Wow.
And listen, I think they thought after that, like, if I hadn't introduced myself, they probably would have thought I was mute, because I didn't say anything else like most of the rest of the week. In the class, in the seminars, I was like, I am not about to let these people know that I don't know half of what they know. Like, I'm talking about, like, I was sitting in a class with MW and with MSs and like people, and I was just like, at that time I had no certifications. I was in advanced WSET. So there were no letters. I can be like, yeah, well, I'm actually in the advanced class, and what I'm doing is, my teacher in the advanced class was at this session. I'm in there with him, so I was like, all right, I'm not about to say nothing to nobody.
Oh, wow.
I was just sitting there like, oh, I'm going to be quiet this whole time. So, make it through the week. I drink wines I had never even heard of. I could tell this story now since it was several years ago, and, whatever. But stuff I hadn't even heard of. Then the exam comes, and we're like, all right, it's going to be multiple choice, and everybody's like, oh, I'm going to sleep, it's going to be this, and they're like, no, it's going to be short answer and essay. So
Oh
I'm
Lord
like,
have
okay,
mercy.
well,
Mm.
I'm like, all right,
Look,
well,
I would have packed my bags
and
like, all
they're like,
right,
oh
that's
Like,
yeah,
it.
bring it.
right.
Bring it.
So I was
Be
like,
like, can we take it twice?
Jesus. I was like, we
It's the
need to talk
practice
about this
exams in the real one.
right now. And so I have this binder, like they gave us a binder, and we're talking the 5 different regions of Burgundy,
No
and we,
way.
you know,
Wow.
and they're like, no, this is going to be actually more in-depth information because we know you know all the Climat and all the Grand Cru and the Premier Cru, and I was like, oh, we do? Oh, okay. Well, we know we know those. Uh-huh. So they're like, no, we're gonna ask more in-depth information about what's the difference between the soil and the Premier Cru in Côte de Nuit, between the Grand Cru and Côte de Beaune. I was like, oh, okay. Well, this is gonna be an all-nighter. So we get in the exam. I get to the first page. I'm like, oh snap! Dun, 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 dun. Got it. Turn the page. I was like, oh wait, this is no. I don't know this. No. I don't. And then look at the other page and the other page. And I was like, I don't know these things. No. So I get up from the table. There were 13 of us taking, that have been there for this week and taking this exam. There are 13 of us. So I get up, I go to the bathroom. I say, okay, listen, look up. I like, okay, God, for real. You did not bring me, and sorry, all the people who watching this who, like, don't judge me for what I'm about to say. I said, okay, God, for real. You did not bring me out here to embarrass me in front of all these white people. This is not what you did to me. You did not. I was like, for real. I was like, for real. You know I want this. You know I'm trying. Like, seriously, come on.
Oh, wow.
Don't leave me out. I was like, don't leave me out here like this.
GMG,
And
real
so then,
talk.
right, that's how I'm like, listen, real talk. I know I probably should say that part for the after show, but I'm like, I'm keeping it real here. Like, if somebody had said that the other way around, I wouldn't even be mad. It's fine. So
Right.
I go back in, I'm calm, I answer what I know. And then I just hand it in, I'm like, look, that's all I can do. Then we have a blind tasting.
Ooh.
Please.
4 whites, 4 reds. And I mean blind tasting to the point, like, we write out our notes, and then we need to name the region, give a range of the year.
Oh, wow.
Mind you, Burgundy is Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. So,
Right.
So it's like, okay, I know it's white and red. I know it's like, so no, the grapes, they didn't care about that. They say, no, so what region? I'm like, okay, well, Jesus. All right. And with the blind test, we had to do it out loud, and we didn't know which one they would pick. So we had to write out all the notes for the 8 wines, and then after we did that, then they would go through the wines and call out one of our names, and we had to give out our notes out loud.
Lord have mercy.
Wow.
Nope.
I remember this so vividly, and when I tell you this is about maybe 8 or 9 years ago when this happened. But I remember sitting in that room. I remember what I was wearing. I remember the people around the room. I remember how I felt. And so I write my notes down, and I'm like, okay, well, me trying to tell the difference between a Pomar and a Volnay and the Mercury, like, that wasn't. A lot of these wines, it was the first time I had tasted them. So trying to distinguish between them, I was like, all right, look, I'm just going to write down the notes the best I can and hope for the best. There was one wine on there that I knew exactly what it was because it was very distinctive. I knew the region. I had the tasting notes down. That wine came, Tanisha Townsend. I was like, you got me. You did that. You did. You the homie. You did it. You did it. So tasting notes is on it. And I knew they were on it because after I finished, like, I felt confident, said it with confidence. After I finished, I saw the lady taking notes. She was like, I was like, in my head, like, what?
That's right. The mute got it right.
The crazy. Right. The mute got it right.
Right.
So the crazy thing about this was to know after the exam, they were like, all right, guys, go out, have a good day. I'm like, have a good day? What? what did we do? How did it work? And so we were like, so how do we know? And they were like, well, we'll have a dinner, and then we'll call your names at the dinner and give you the certificate. So,
Oh my God. So if they don't call your name, you didn't pass.
Right.
you didn't pass, and you were in front of everybody.
Child,
Oh,
that is humiliating.
So
But Tanisha had already asked
I
not to
walked up
be
to the-
embarrassed.
that's right. That's right.
You already know. You remember that prayer. So I walked up to the lady after I said, "Excuse me, listen, you know what room I'm staying in. So if I don't pass, just call, and I can just go back to the bus. I can go to the train station tonight. Like I don't have to come to this whole dinner business. Like it's fine." And it's okay if they know I didn't pass, but they can't
I'm
know,
not gonna
and I
stand
still
up
be in
for
their
this.
face.
Exactly.
Right. I'm not about to sit there and everybody standing up with a certificate, and I'm still sitting out drinking all the wine. Like, no, it's not okay. No, thank you.
Mm.
So we go have dinner. I'm trying to be calm, handshaking. After a couple glasses of wine, I actually was fine. We took some pictures. Everybody's all happy and light. I'm like, I don't know how y'all this happy, but all right, fine. They get to calling the names, and sure enough, Tanisha Townsend. Like, I literally shouted.
Oh
And
my God.
hands up, they call my name. I'll go get my certificate, and then I do a dance and take a picture, and then that's the day.
You should have told us to get some popcorn.
Oh, sorry.
That was good.
I didn't realize. When I
That is
started
so
talking, I
awesome.
didn't realize I was gonna get into this. My bad.
No, that was a good story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was gonna get into this.
Yes.
Or into this kind of detail. So they called my name. I had a certificate. Today is Wednesday too. Whatever. On Thursday, I'll post that picture as a TBT to show me with the certificate or whatever.
Oh,
Even though I was a little plump back then, but whatever. So there actually was one person who didn't pass. Their name did not get called. We all come back with our certificates, and then we were like, "Oh God, what do we do? I don't even want to look at him in the eye. I don't like what he say.
Oh.
Just looking at each other because he's still sitting here eating. Does he have to leave right now? Is he what?
Wow.
What do we say to him? Does he get like a present or something? A consolation prize?
Consolation
What
prize.
does he get? Right. Does he get a bottle to take home? How does this work? But anyway, from that point, when I got that certificate, I knew that I had like a nose for it, the taste for it, and I knew I had the capacity to actually do something with this. So I was started blogging at that point. Started doing the pictures. I started doing more tastings and events. I started speaking at festivals and being asked to speak places now. And also because I had the certification that it had just started, I'm only in the second group of people that got this certification. So that was kind of pivotal for me, that let me know that this could actually be something.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't just, oh, Tanisha likes to go out and drink wine and swirl it and look like she's important. Like, no, she halfway knows what she's talking about. Not too long after, like a few years after that, then I started teaching at the college in Maryland, and I started teaching a wine class from there. Then I spoke at a wine conference, and to make this story shorter, at a wine conference, met a person there who put me in contact with the director at a school here in Paris. We talked, and then that's how I got the job in Paris and then moved here. When the contract for teaching wine, and the classes I taught in Paris were luxury wine and spirits and wine science and European wines. When that was over, I didn't want to leave, and I had the idea to do wine tours, so I started doing wine tours here. I do wine videos. I write about the expat experience. I write about European wines, how French wine and the French wine culture is different than American wine culture, how I fit in here, just all kind of different things for various online publications and blogs, of course my own blog, and working on some online wine courses now.
Excellent.
And that's been my path.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Go Tanisha.
Will you hire me? I want to move to Paris. I want to hang with you.
Well, and the move to Paris part, to go back to like what Glenda said about making the money. So my previous career was IT security. So I made nowhere near the amount of money I made then. But it all depends on what you want in your life. Like, I know for one thing, Glenda, you're not like unhappy in your job. Like, you like what you do and you enjoy it. I mean, to a certain extent, everybody has some part of their job. Like, I hate this, you can take this and shove it. But like, I was extremely unhappy in my job, and the money didn't make it better. So
yeah,
I took that money, and luckily for me, I was a fairly good saver. So I stacked up enough that when it was time to make a move, then I was able to make it. Now, it has definitely been a huge adjustment in trying to make something up on my own and in another country where I am still learning their language. But I am like so much happier, and my just disposition is so much better.
Awesome.
I'm like, my skin is clearer, like like my blood flows better, like everything is just like, I'm just better over here.
Oh, wow.
So this has made me happier, because this is something that I wanted to do. This is something that I'm good at, and this is something that has actually giving something back to me. All the years I was in consulting, like, you hear consultants like, oh, I'm traveling here, I'm out of town, this week, this week. I never went anywhere. And wine, I have been to so many different places and gone to so many. Right. I mean, and I'm not even talking just traveling around the States. I was flying back and forth to France and then Portugal, and then, like, to date, I've been, and this is not bragging, because again, everybody has their own story and all of that. A lot of the things that I deal with or go through being on my own over here are things that other people would be like, no, girl, I ain't even trying to do it. Nope, I'm just stay over here in my 2,000 square foot apartment, and you know, like this, as opposed to Tanisha's shoebox that she lives in, and you know, whatever. But yeah, so like, been through wine regions in France, Portugal, Hungary, Turkey, Bulgaria.
Wow.
Spain.
She's been everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, I will say it is easier once you're here, because like, I know I could fly to Spain for €50 round trip.
Oh,
like,
oh, that's great,
man.
Yeah, if you're playing it right, you know, that's something you could do. And also, so what I would say to people, and this is gonna be my 2 cents, and then shut up so other people can talk. Decide exactly what you want to do. So not until I got really clear on exactly what I wanted to do and how I wanted this to look, did things really start taking off and being able to happen for me.
That's true.
So that has happened within like the past couple years. Like, once I moved here, I got really clear on what exactly I wanted to do. I also managed my expectations as far as, okay, I know I'm not about to just off the break in wine make my 6-figure salary. Like, I just know that's not going to happen to start. Not saying that it can't happen in the course of time, but that just wasn't my expectation. But for anybody out there that wants to do this, get really clear on what you want out of it. If you want to be a side hustle, it's a fantastic side hustle. But if you want to move into a full-time, get clear on it. Do you want to write or blog? Do you want to be a wine rep? Do you want to speak at festivals? Do you want to teach classes? What exactly do you want to do? Because there's so much more than just, I work at a winery, I work for an importer, I work for a wholesaler.
Yeah.
I work at a wine shop. It's so much more to the industry than that.
Exactly.
So,
seriously, amen.
Right. That's so
okay.
good.
Yeah.
I need a sip of water.
Girl.
I'm sorry. I didn't even know I was talking that long. Goodness. All right. I'm off my soapbox.
Wow.
But that's you hit on some very important points into the industry, and also I think everyone needs to also think about if where the wine industry and wine is so vast. I've heard people crash and burn because they want to know all things wine.
Hmm.
What? There's no such thing as all things wine.
Exactly.
I think as some advice, what area of it do you want to be the expert in?
Hmm.
Mhm.
Everybody, the more we do these hangouts, the more I think the realization comes you might need to carve out, do you want to be a French wine expert? Do you want to be a
Mhm.
sparkling expert versus a champagne expert
Hmm.
Yep.
versus Cava Prosecco versus Cabernet Sauvignon? There are so many facets in this business
Yeah.
where
Mhm.
don't you can't swallow the whole apple.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't make it
Cool.
more simpler than that. And that realization has come to me in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, for 2016, girl. Cool, numbers.
Right.
So
Like,
Yeah.
where do you want to make your mark?
There you go.
And find, and I think you hit on it
Yeah.
right on the nose.
Hmm.
Because I
Mhm.
think I would say, to what Glennis and what Tanisha were saying, you do have to know your path, but it's okay if you don't know your path. Like if you sort of
Right.
stumble into the
Mhm.
path,
oh,
like it's
Exactly.
okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because, I will say, my path is not ever going to be an expert in one thing. Like my career,
Right.
like I've worked as a supplier, I've worked as a distributor, I've worked as a retailer. I'm out here, sorry, I'm literally drinking water tonight to rest my liver. I have to I have to
Yeah.
speak in the
You in Vegas,
morning.
girl.
Well, I'm in Vegas. I have to speak in the morning about detoxing your cocktail menu. So I'm speaking at the nightclub and bar show, which is super cool. Lots of bar owners, bartenders descend. I'm not a clean cocktail expert, but like you find things that really interest you, and they will start to, kind of like Tanisha said, they'll start to fall into
Yeah.
place. Maybe
Mhm.
you
Absolutely.
want to be a public speaker. Maybe you want to be a writer. You may not know that right away, and that's
Mhm.
actually really okay.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
perfectly
You're
fine. Yep.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Mhm.
And well, it's going to be hard to follow up that story, but
Sorry.
I'll tell my little one. So, for once, for me, I don't make six figures. I don't know what that's like. So, but my educational background is in healthcare, sort of like health education, community health kind of thing. So, I graduated. I'm not going to say the year. There's no point in that.
Girl,
But
it's fine. We
I
ain't chaos. It's
graduated.
cool.
I graduated, and maybe like a few years after I graduated, one of my girlfriends got married. She was from Sacramento, so we all flew down to Sacramento, went to the wedding and whatnot. And I was the only one. This is my first time in California. I was like, well, I mean, well, there's wine in California, so why don't I go to some wineries? So I was the only one who wanted to stay. So I got my little rental car. It was a horrible rental car at that. Oh my gosh, it was like a Kia something or other. Anyway, and back then there were no GPS on the phone or anything like that. So I got
Mhm.
papers everywhere trying to find what's what. Anyway,
Oh,
so anyway,
wow.
I discovered Napa, and eventually I threw the papers out the window and started asking the locals where to go and just started hanging out. And I spent the whole day in Napa. And I know I tell this story a lot, but I was standing at the top of like this hill, just looking at the rolling hills, and I was drinking a Chardonnay. Like, why is this the first time that I've done this? What
Wow.
has taken me so long to do this? So anyway, I fell in love with wine then, and I got back to DC and just started reading Wine 101, Wine for Dummies, Champagne for Dummies, just like all these books. And um, I couldn't really afford to travel much, so I developed my palate right here in the city, just going to different tastings around the city. In DC on Friday evenings, most of the tastings are free. So I would get off of work and just hop around to different tastings and taste all types of wine, and got to know some of the wine owners, and I mean the some of the store owners, that kind of thing. And I was like, well, I probably should get a part-time job in wine because this is costing me a lot of money. So I sent an email to every Maryland winery,
Oh my
and
goodness.
yeah, and so I got feedback from two, and one was hiring, and that happened to be Black Ankle Vineyards. and I was there for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
I was so intimidated when I got there. First of all, because I was the only brown girl. I mean, I should be used to that by now, but that was, yeah.
You don't get used to
It
that.
was a, my
Mm-mm.
God. So, and I, you know how you read something and you think you know something? I didn't know shit. I didn't know shit about wine when I started working at a winery. I really didn't. I didn't know anything. And people will make you feel like you don't know anything. Anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
They'll
Especially,
I
try you.
I really, yeah,
yeah,
they
especially,
definitely tried me. And one day I just grew some balls and I just started saying what I knew, and I knew a lot more than I thought I did. And
Hmm.
at some point the manager and the owner started putting me in different positions. Sarita, can you do this tour? Sarita, I got a tasting of 35. Can you handle them? I started getting
Good for
you know,
you.
different tasks at the winery, and next thing they called me a senior tasting associate, and it started out with three of us on the staff, each shift, three people. Now they have maybe close to 15 different managers. So
Wow.
I've literally seen
wow.
a winery grow up. And it helped me learn a whole lot about wine. And working at a small boutique winery is no luxury in that. You're sweeping floors, you're cleaning toilets, because there is no cleaning staff. There are no dishwashers. You're rotating. You're rotating. One day you sweeping floors, you pour wine tomorrow, you might be on the cash register one day. That's how it is. So if
Wow.
you think if you think that working at a winery is luxurious, maybe at a big one in Napa, probably, maybe,
It's still not. Nope.
but
Mm-mm.
I don't know. But working in a small one locally, nah. It's your second home, and that's how you treat it. How your mama say go do the dishes, you go do the damn dishes. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Hmm.
The perks are, if the wine is good, you get to enjoy it after all of that's done, and you really embrace that, and like I said, you really see the growth in a winery. You see it grow if it's successful. So it's so the commute is the only reason why I left. It's
That's very
probably
true.
like an hour and 15 minutes from DC. So the commute on the weekends and the going back and forth. Sometimes I work in 2 days, and it was a lot. The commute was a lot. So that's why I left. And people started saying, "Well, why don't you start a blog?" I was like, "What? I don't know enough to write a blog. That's crazy." But all along, I was microblogging anyway. I was always on Facebook. I was always on Twitter talking about what I was drinking and where I was and what it tastes like and how it made me feel, that kind of stuff. So I bit the bullet, and I met Leslie. Leslie had started doing her wine tours, and I did her tasting. And we started hanging out because she didn't live too far from me, and she was just like, "Girl, if you don't just hit the publish button." The stuff was already written, y'all. I had already written it, and I could not hit the publish button. I could not hit that publish button. Like, I know I'm not ready. I just can't do
Oh,
it. So
fear of the button.
so Leslie was like, "Girl, if you don't hit that publish button, I mean, seriously, people want to know what you're doing now. It's
Right.
immediate. Blogging is immediate." So anyway,
Right.
so
Hmm.
I hit the button, and that was 3 years ago. And it's weird where it's taken me, because my healthcare background and wine have sort of merged. You can find me at Bikram Yoga doing tastings monthly now. So what I do for them is I make a fresh juice, and I pair it with fruit and like whole grain crackers, and then I bring a few wines. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds with me. Um, and I do little small tastings, small events, that kind of stuff. But I mean, it was definitely a process, and it started a while ago. It started a long time ago, but yeah, it's coming to the forefront now. But
It's fantastic.
yeah,
It's a
I
great
love these
story.
stories. Oh my God, I feel
I
so just.
know.
Yeah.
And I also find it interesting that we all took different paths to get to where we are, how we all met up,
Right.
and then just
yeah,
Mhm.
like what's like next. Like I'm just like amazed, because I think not long after Sarita met Leslie, was talking to her, because I met Sarita through Leslie
Yeah.
at a wine festival where I was the speaking, doing the wine tent there. And then
Yeah.
Leslie was like, "Oh, you need to meet this person," or something like that. And then like Sarita came up. I was like, "Oh, hey girl." And so then we talked, and then the rest is history.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Glennis, I met Glennis because we, in wine, but I met Glennis several years ago because we have a mutual friend. And I remember this moment. We were at her apartment for a party, and I was making the cocktails because that's just, I mean, even then. But then as the night went, right, they just knew. But as the night went on, my cocktails got stronger because I got drunker. So my cocktails got a little, it wasn't so bad. I wasn't trained, And so Glenn was like, "All right, girl, I got the second shift." And I'm like, "Okay, new person I just met. That's fine. Take it over." And so I knew Glennis from there. And like, we were cool. And so, she got in and she's like, "All right, I got this." She rolled her sleeves up and, had the shaker going. And so, like, it was good. So, and then we reconnected when I saw Glennis at, I think, WBC a few years ago.
Yes. Wine bloggers conference.
Yeah, and Melissa, I think I met Melissa on Twitter.
Yep, we met online.
That is crazy.
Yep, we met online, and then Tanisha's the one that introduced me to all of you ladies. And then it's crazy, like a lot of the people, and tonight's a great example. So Miss Tipsy Sommelier, like I live in Richmond, she lives in Richmond. We hadn't met. The only reason we even connected is because of this sort of forum and venues. I mean, it's really amazing how the relationships and like how you start to develop and find other people interested in similar things come about.
Yeah.
You know what? That is hilarious. That how young minds remember things. Because
Glennis, it took a minute for me too.
You don't remember that, Glennis?
I do now that you mentioned it. Because what's funny, we were doing martinis and how I was a bartender in college. I worked for the JW Marriott in the Holiday Inn. And when she got tired, I was like, "Oh, I got that. No problem. It's the shaker." Yes. That's so correct. But yeah, that Chicago connection. But it's interesting that there's a lot of common themes in what we've all said, and I think the biggest theme that resonates with me is stepping out of your comfort zone.
Oh, girl,
yeah.
And I'm going to say that is an issue for a lot of people of color, for one, because if you could step out of your comfort zone, the world will open up to you, and it's just one of those. It's that old cliche. It's an oyster. The world is opened up. Just go out and grab it. And I know I need to preach and internalize what I'm saying, because
practice what you preach.
Exactly. The scientific mind of me, like, "Oh no, I need to have this process down. If the process, nope, this doesn't fit in this frame. This frame got to go like this. Nope, I can't do that because I haven't prepared." And you get caught up in your own processes of how you think things should go. And
But I will tell you, Glennis, it will happen when it is supposed to happen. Exactly when it is supposed to happen is when it will happen.
Exactly.
And I've talked to so many folks, and they're not ready to step out on their own. And I've talked to so many folks that are ready, and they've done it. And it's amazing to see where people go, and everybody's on their own path, and that's what's really beautiful about it. Because I can't wait to see, 5 years looking back, where each one of us is, and all the other people that we know. Because, I mean, it really is, that's what makes the industry so great, that people have come to it in different ways and bring different things to it.
Yeah. Girl, the Swirl Suite going to have its own syndicated talk show. We're going to be sitting out That's what we're going to claim it right now.
Also, going back to your point and what you were saying about how you need to prepare, and you like practice what you preach, but also, how they say sometimes, sometimes you just have to take a leap off the cliff and then just like build the wings or build the plane on the way down. You have have to do. But I mean, that isn't everybody's story. Some people
Right.
some people make a nice smooth transition and have a plan in place. Like, okay, I'm going to, in 10 months, I'm going to quit my job and then go do this full time. And these are the things that I'm going to do. That is not my ministry. That has never been my ministry. I am not a planner. I have had to become one. That wasn't me before. Me, I'm like, nope, I don't want to do this. I quit. Okay, now what do I do? Like what? I've had enough. Take this laptop back. I'm doing CDs everywhere. No, here, take your badge.
Oh my goodness.
People, she is telling the truth because
I'm
I'm
standing outside like, okay,
what?
so
Yeah.
what just happened? What? Can I keep the lights on? Can I eat tomorrow? What? So, okay, so that wasn't like the complete story. Like that was clearly an abridged version, but
I have a really interesting question for everybody, actually. So, I mean, we've been doing the Swirl Suite for a minute now. Is there an area of the wine profession that you can see each of us in that we're not currently in now? Does that make sense?
ooh, it does. That's deep, girl. Oh, y'all answer. I'm not ready.
You all gotta write stuff down.
No, I have my answer if y'all want me to go first because I've thought about it. I listened to a podcast and they asked each other the same question, and I was like,
"Ooh, what podcast was it? This sound good."
Oh, it was The Read. There was The Read.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah. So, first of all, Glennis, I see Glennis as like a consultant for the labs in like a winery. It's like the blending and all that. I can see her like, oh no, baby, that
Oh, wow.
That way off. Yeah. No. I can see her doing that for different wineries.
Yep, that'd be a good transition.
Melissa, I feel like I'm always learning something. I don't know if you've ever thought about like doing like being a professor or teaching a class or something, but you're very good at that. You're very clear. I always understand what you're saying, and I'm always seem to be learning something from you. Let's see, Tanisha. I feel like you can be like the Oprah of wine.
She gonna be the bag lady of wine.
Yeah.
I see it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Teresina, I haven't been following you very long, but you just seem like the Martha Stewart of wine. I mean, just everything in one package. Everything. I mean, if you can think of anything involving wine that you want to do, I feel like you can handle it.
Oh my gosh. You know, and one thing that I would like to do, honestly, is I want to do a wine talk show.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
You know, they have.
I want to be a guest.
You know, yeah, we need that. I think we need it.
I think so too. I think that can happen.
I've been watching wine for years now, and they've tried the wine talk show, and even Jancis said that she was on a wine talk show, and it didn't last. I don't know why.
That is so odd.
So here's the thing that people have to remember when it comes to wine, and why I feel like people kind of go wrong with a wine talk show. It can't just be wine, because wine in itself is not as exciting to other people to watch as it is to drink. Yeah. So if you were doing a wine talk show, wine couldn't be the forefront of the show. It would have to kind of take on a form like...
Don't give away all the secrets, because the Swirl Suite's going to do that. Don't give away
that's what I was saying. Like food and wine.
It would have to take on the form like our show, where we do talk about wine, but that isn't our main focus. We don't come on here and we're like, okay, today our show is on California Cabernet. Woo! The crowd goes wild. No, it has to take on the form of, okay, this is a topic as a whole within wine, or this is a topic as a whole that we deal with, and we all drinking. Well, not all of us, because I got an empty bottle of water. But, you know, we're drinking, and then we hit a little wine talk, you know, and then it has to be
Yeah.
about a topic that people may find interesting or exciting. It can't just be, okay, we're drinking wine. Okay, we're talking to this winemaker. That
Mhm.
isn't interesting or exciting, as a whole. We also have to think about, and I use this comparison a lot, and I did this with my luxury wine and spirits class. Think about how people are when they talk wine or drink wine as opposed to how they are when they drink alcohol or cocktails. Think of the presentation of a cocktail and of a bartender and that whole story, and think about that in how it is with wine. Okay, with wine, a somm comes to the table, or just the
Right.
regular waiter comes, pours the wine. There's nothing exciting about
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
But you get a cocktail, I mean, it's a shake involved, it's a long pour, it's a orange
Yeah.
peel on fire, it's 2
Yeah.
cinnamon sticks and a banana shaped
Right.
like a dolphin at the top of your drink.
We know about some marketing.
Exactly.
So you can do that with cocktails because there's a flair to it. If you look at a picture of a cocktail, in a glass, and a picture of wine in the glass, it's two completely different things.
Yeah.
Like, I'm more
Right.
drawn to the cocktail in the glass as far as the
Mhm.
picture.
Right.
I
Yeah.
want to drink the wine though.
Yeah.
So wine show,
Right.
yes, it can be done, but just always think that wine can't be the sole focus. Wine needs to be like we
It's
have
gotta
this show
be
about
A
these
part of
things,
the picture.
Yeah.
It's
and then we
part
drink.
of the
Like a
lifestyle.
lifestyle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is
Yes,
a
and
lifestyle
that's
that wine is
how
part
all
of.
those wine. Yep. Yeah, it
Yeah.
needs to be like on location where like maybe you go to different
Giving
places.
away too much
That's something I'm
information.
interested
Oh
in.
yeah.
Giving away too
Oh,
much
sorry.
information.
But
All
I
right,
will
yep.
say,
I'm done.
not
Zip
to
it.
not to interrupt
Keep
Tanisha,
that under
but
wraps.
for Sarita, so really interesting question, Sarita, and I have really bad answers for some of these things. But
Uh-oh. Wait,
Sarita,
bad?
I
Like, are
see
we gonna
you.
cry? Like Mean
No,
Girl?
but
Like what? Mean
I
Girl,
wish
you
I
can't
could
sit with
think it
us? You
through.
can't
I'm a
laugh with us?
planner. I'm a planner.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
Sarita, I see you as one of two things. I actually see you creating your own bubbles line. So I see you having a brand, like a
Interesting.
bubbles brand, to be honest.
Interesting.
Or I can see you have gone to so many different wine shops, spirit shops, like you are the tasting woman 101. I could see you opening some sort of special tasting shop that is focused on like the beginner wine drinker and helping to teach them and educate them in a similar forum that's been so good to you versus going around the whole city. I feel like Sarita could bring them that in one
Mhm.
place.
Hmm.
Right.
So that's really where I see like Sarita thing.
Interesting.
Glennis, I do not know why, but I can see you, taking your kind of EPA background. I can see you out doing soil testings on wineries. I mean, really optimizing terroir. Like, no. This is not the land that you should be picking. We need to be over here.
Right.
And let's look at this
My research
mountainside
said
and the
2 miles
wind is
south.
blowing like this.
Yep.
Like, I mean, I can really see Glennis talking about, how to pick the place. Like, it's so impacted and like using all your background in terms of just like getting it right, because that's the most important thing that vineyard owners can do is where they are.
Yeah.
Like, it's absolutely where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Tanisha, I so agree with Sarita. You're the Oprah of wine. So I can't even add anything to that. It was so perfect. I can see you honestly doing some sort of sitcom, about wine, about life, about travel, about like flying by the seat of your pants. Like, I can see you doing all of that.
Yeah.
And I would say, Miss Tipsy Sommelier, I do not know you well enough yet, but I love the branding and I love the name. And I think you can take that as a brand so much further. Like, beyond what you're doing now, you could really build a brand around Tipsy Sommelier, because I think that is catchy, it's memorable, and people will, like, that's real talk.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good angle.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I like it.
Who's going next? Y'all are quiet.
Yeah, it's hard. It was no joke. It was hard.
Is. And like, I'm thinking about it, right? And I will just say, yep, I agree with what all y'all said. Do that.
Right. Co-sign. Just go ahead, co-sign, Tanisha.
Wow.
Well, since I don't, you're talking Glennis?
No, go ahead, sweetheart.
Okay. Well, since I don't really know you all. I do want to say this. I think you're all very wonderful, dynamic, powerful women, and everything you touch is going to turn to gold. That's my position. That's what I see. I mean, it's so impressive just seeing other women out there doing their thing, loving wine, making it work, building brands, just doing your thing. I mean, it's just really wonderful.
Yeah.
And you know, thank you for including me in this. I just believe big successes for all of you. I'm praying to God about that. I just want everything that you touch to turn to
thank
gold,
you.
and I'm believing that for you all.
And you
Shout out
as
to
well.
us.
Yeah.
Right, you as well. And on Women's Day, we're doing this. Isn't today
I
still for
know.
y'all? Still Women's
Yeah,
Day. So
It
today.
is. It's
shout
still
out to
Women's
Women's
Day.
Day.
It's Women's
Yes, it is.
Day.
Yeah.
Yep. So I unfortunately I am gonna have to jump off, ladies. You guys keep talking. I
Oh
gotta
yeah,
go
because
get
you
ready
got
to
to get
present.
ready. Good luck
Yes,
with your
for your
talk
yes.
tomorrow. We
Yes.
are like
What
rooting
time
for
is your
you.
talk tomorrow so I can follow you on Periscope?
It's 11 o'clock Pacific time, so it's 2 p.m. Eastern. So I'll be streaming live. They have no problem with this. I'll be streaming live on Periscope.
All
I
right.
don't think.
Oh, that's 9.
Yeah.
That's like 9 p.m. for me. So okay, I can watch.
Oh.
That's so hilarious. Okay. 9 p.m. I mean, like I'm up at 9, so like that's doable. It's just funny. They're like, yeah, I'm talking at 11. Yeah, it's 9. I've had a full day and it's over. And you like, good morning.
No,
Right.
but it has been a pleasure, ladies, and I will talk to you guys next month.
All right.
Okay, bye. Bye, Melissa.
Bye.
Best wishes.
Bye. So y'all do this every month?
Yes.
Once a month.
We've been doing it for 2 years.
What?
Yeah.
And it's evolved too.
It
So
has. It really has.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So it's the same group of ladies?
We're missing one, but yeah.
one. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Always us.
Pheno 301.
So, quick question for you all, since we're still, here and live. Since you all mentioned kind of some things that you saw for other people, is there anything that you would like to get into, or anything that you thought of that you want to say, live? Sometimes just you saying it out loud, putting it in the universe. Is there any like lane you want to get into, or that you're working to get into, that you haven't, done already or mentioned?
That's a great question, Tanisha. I think mine would be one of my, I don't like to use the word fantasy, but how I got into wine and the whole traveling piece. Finding a way to monetize the travel piece.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
clearly.
That would be
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole doing wine speaking engagements all over, or something dealing with wine that I would travel. I'd sell this house in a minute and be like, deuces, I don't need a house because I am somewhere every day of the year outside of the U.S. or within the U.S. So I guess that would be my ultimate in the wine.
Cool.
Me, I think I would really like to go into TV production or directing, that
Wow.
kind of thing on the back end. I don't need to be in front of the camera. This is awesome, and I love doing this with you guys, but if I could do this on the back end and get this, I'd probably get the same gratification. I
Wow.
would probably be just as happy on the back end of it. Just kind of organizing it all and be like, y'all the talent. So.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, because you wrangle us. You be pulling me together.
I'm telling
I'll be
you.
like, oh, I'm all over the place. Serena be like, Tanisha.
Exactly.
I need a personal wrangler. Like, I can't wait till I can make some more money so I can just hire a wrangler. Like, I literally need a life wrangler. Like, I need a Ayanla to just walk. I need an Ayanla type person to just be with me all the time. Just pull me together.
Oh wow. Wow.
Just,
I think I want to
Okay,
write a book next.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yes,
What is
I
your
want to
book?
read it.
What are you gonna do your book about?
I wrote a book. I wrote a book for girlfriends, for friends, called Conversing with the Elephant.
Mm-hmm.
25 things our girlfriends don't have the balls to tell us.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's a funny little book. but I mean, and it's good information. It's just about friendship and communication and things that we don't say to one another and should, elephant in the room, that kind of thing. But I want to do. I'm working on two other books. One of them is the next phase of that. It's like the same information for our daughters, but it's more encompassing and like a whole life thing in this situation, in this situation. This first book is really short, but so I want to make this one a little bigger and put more information in it. But as it pertains to wine, I'm going to do a pocket wine guide, just very basic, helpful wine survival information. You're in a party, you're at a bar, you're at a winery. This is what you should know. You're entertaining. This is what you should know. That kind of thing. And because then I can sell it. Because my thing with my company is that I don't have anything to sell. I can't sell wine to individuals. I have nothing to sell. I made some T-shirts. They're cute, whatever. They don't fly off the shelves. So it's like just to have something else when you go to the different events and have something to offer them so I can make some money. So that's what's next. I don't think that's ultimate, but that's definitely what's next.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Tanisha, do you have anything?
I always got something. I really want to get into the video space. Like every other industry has, these videos and people that are like kind of killing the game as far as YouTube or even just like short clips. But there isn't really anybody in wine that's really doing it. That's grabbing anyone's attention or that has like any kind of like that large of an audience like, across the board. Like there are a few people, Sarita and I have had this conversation. There are a few people that I like swear by. Like I absolutely stand for Whitney A and love watching her videos because she's funny and approachable to me. But there isn't, really a lot of people in there, and so it's so much room for someone in there. And then I think I have the personality for it. I'm not scared to be in front of the camera. And I think I talk about wine and life in a way that, people be like, oh, okay, yeah, girl, I hear you. Oh, drink what? All right, I'm going to go buy that tomorrow. Something like that. So I want to, kind of slide in there. So maybe, Sarita, you can produce my show.
There you go.
Produce me, wrangle me, and help me get my life.
Girl.
Sarita, fix my life.
Pairs.
Fix my life. Girl, just message me like you do. Just message me like, Tanisha, what'd you do today? And I'll be like, nothing. Like, help me pull it together.
Oh, man.
Wow.
We are heading on 10 o'clock, so we need to log off. But
listen, we do.
Tipsy Sommelier, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for
and just really quickly before you leave, Tipsy Sommelier, is there anything that you want our viewers or anybody listening to know? Any final thoughts that you have for us before we let you go?
Well, I had a great time. You guys are awesome. Check out my website, ttswine.com. If you're in the Richmond area or D.C., Maryland, Tidewater area, hit me up. Have car, will travel.
All right. I like it.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us, too. All right, Sarita, you can sign us off.
Thank you, everybody. Bye. Next month.
Bye.
Guys, I hope everybody learned something. We gave it a lot of helpful hints and a lot of personal stories, so I hope you all appreciate it.
So, Rita, before we go, are you going to tell them what we're doing next month?
So actually, not even next month. In a couple of weeks, the 22nd, we are going to discuss local wine, beer, and spirits, and we're going to go from DC to Delaware. Local wine.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to have a special guest, Wine Antics. You can follow her at Wine Antics.
Oh, my girl. Yeah. Hey, Jen. Hey.
So, Jennifer. She's Wine
She's
Antics.
still watching. We might have put her to sleep. Hey, Jen.
But that's all, folks.
Thanks. Bye. See you
Bye.
next couple of weeks.
Bye.